Hi there, welcome back to the channel. My name's Shane. Today we're going to be taking a look at this quadrant that came off of my tractor. Go back and look at the previous videos to see how this was removed. This is the control arm that controls the hydraulic lift, and I will be disassembling it here in this video. Alright, so I've never taken one of these things apart before, so this is going to be a learning process for me. I'm assuming we take this off first. It's just a plastic cap. Come on now. Well. Come off like that, I guess. It stays on. Interesting. Cool. Washer. All right, now how does this pop off? Let's see here. It's dirty. Which is dirt in here is the main reason I'm wanting to remove all this. Oh, yep. Okay. It just pops up. Ah, okay, cool. It is dirty. All right, friction, that is a friction ring, from what I understand. That has a dowel in it. Get this friction ring over here in my parts tray. Okay, the dowels do come out. I'll set that dowel back in that hole right there for the time being. And take a look at this. That seems to be one piece. Yeah, that's all one piece. All right, I went and found my hemostats. Good for keeping your hands out of the way and grabbing onto stuff. All right, that is a dowel pin. Another dowel pin. These are better than needle nose in my opinion. All right, now then, assuming once that's disconnected, we take these 3 bolts off. They look to be, there's no nuts underneath them. Figure out what size those are. They look to be 1/2 inch. This is a set of ratcheting wrenches. I think these are Cobalt. Yeah, Cobalt from Lowe's. Love these things. Especially when you need to get, if you go back and watch the other video on how this came off the tractor, I go up under the tractor and hang, well, I think this exact wrench off of the bolt that goes in here, and I'm able to get it backed off with these really easily. I mean, it takes some time, but if I didn't have that, it would be super annoying, and I think you'd have to take this whole thing off or have a really short wrench. All right, I want to be very careful here. All right, that bolt and washer came off. These are the same size. Assume that this one is the longer one. Okay, yeah, longer one goes on the single side. 2 bolts that are same size, 1 bolt that's longer. All right, that should be free now. All right, so it seems like since this is captured and that doesn't unscrew, it won't come off the top. How does this come out? I'm assuming, aha, I found it. Okay, there is a pin. Okay, should have done that first. I didn't see it. Show that to you here in a moment. Get back over there. There's a pin right there that keeps, I think, this whole shaft down in there. Let me go get a punch. Roll pin punch set. Let's see which one seems to fit. That's too small. That one might fit pretty well. Yeah. When I was driving it backwards, driving the pin backwards, it got caught basically inside, and I couldn't rotate it. It was hitting the casting on the underside. It's not exactly in the right place, but kind of give you an idea. As I was tapping it back, it hit the back of the casting. But apparently, you can drive it back far enough to get it to rotate, and so I didn't really have to try to drive it back down any. Whew. All right, that is not a piece that has any particular orientation to it. I'm going to leave that pin right there in it for right now. Good deal. Anything else going to bind up? No. And that'll fall out. This is apparently captured in place, and there is another friction ring. It may be the actual friction ring, I don't know. But it looks just like the other one. Right there. This apparently does not come out. Oh, it can't come out. I'm an idiot. Right here. If these will turn. Lightly clamp that in the vise. There we go. Sorry you can't see this. Get my tools out of the way here. Look at the dirt. Okay, yeah, that comes off. I'm not going to take that shaft out. There's no need to. Look at the dirt in there. I pressure washed this thing last year. Reason I'm disassembling this is the arm would move by itself. Basically, it probably just needed to be tightened up, but I wanted to disassemble it to see how it disassembled. How many of you as kids took apart clocks and electronics and all that kind of stuff? Well, I did, that's for sure. I'd take all that stuff apart, see how it worked. Many times I was not successful in putting it back together, making it work. But that has changed as I've gotten older. Not quite as destructive as I used to be. Yeah, now I can get in here and clean up some of this stuff that I missed. Good deal. The housing is empty. That's good. Look how dirty that is. All right, that is the quadrant disassembled. We have the arm, the control arm. We have that shield shroud, the quadrant thing, I guess is what this is called. The housing and this plate, which if you're wanting to remove this stuff, remember this plate can be undone and you can get this out. But that's the quadrant disassembled. Apologies, I thought I was recording, but I never turned on the video camera. So I did disassemble the spring and components off of the quadrant. I'll let you see how they go back together at least. I've cleaned up the spring as best I can. Not quite as dirty as it was at least. There's the spring. What I did, I don't know if this is the right thing or not, but I took a punch and drove this backwards just enough to where I could get the spring over it, just like so. Otherwise it's captured in place and you can't get it out. For the spring, one thing to note, let me get back out. These bent arms here go down. That is incorrect. That is correct. At least that's the way they came off. All right, once the spring is back in its little spot there, where'd my hammer go? Be very, very careful. Hammers can break stuff. Very gently, just going to bump that back over to where it's straight up and down. Just like so. All it does is keep it in its spot. There we go. Well, close. It's pretty close. There we go. Gotta just push it on down. This goes down in that hole pretty far. And then capture it in place. Okay. Good to go. Now then, there is a bolt here that has a shoulder. It has some, what do you call those things? Knurling, I guess, on the shoulder here to keep it in place. That does not tighten the vise. I want to do this to keep it. I can drive that in. Please don't drop. I think that's pretty good. It's a little cattywampus, which means I need to drive it down on the back side, on the side over there next to that spring a little bit more. Get that tight. Hit it really good and hard right there. God, please don't drop, don't fall. I guess that'll have to do. Maybe tightening it up on the quadrant itself will straighten that nut, straighten this bolt out. We'll see. We shall see. This is over and snaps right there into place. Can do it by hand. And there we go. That is back assembled. I don't have a bench grinder, so this is my setup for wire brushing of parts. Use clamps. Works pretty good. Okay, we're cleaned up now. Let's start the reassembly process. Sorry I didn't video the disassembly of this. I forgot that the video camera wasn't running. I got the audio, but you don't want to just listen to it, do you? I don't think so. So, anyway, this I just showed you guys how to reassemble this piece. It fits like so. There is a shaft right here that has a washer, which I didn't clean. It has a washer in this locking washer thing. What's that called? Comment down below. What are these things called? Spring clips? I don't know. It came off, I mean, fairly easily. I used my grabbers here to go down in there and kind of pry it up really gently. I didn't break anything on it. Thankfully. All right, washer. And the clip thingy. That's all that holds that on there. Just push it down on. Down the opposite side, a nut and washer. I did put some marks. My cleaning didn't quite remove them. I was careful not to scrub right there too hard. I did make some marks about where that was before I disassembled it. Maybe that'll pull that bolt straighter. This is a 1/2 inch. This is one of the adjustment points for your tractor. There are specific instructions on how to set this, which we will do once it's all put back together. Oh yeah, that pulled that down quite nicely. Cool. You don't have to beat on it in a vise too much, at least. Yeah, that pulled that down quite nicely. All right, spring is back assembled. This is the Quadrant spring, I think. I did go ahead and drive out the spring pin into there so I can look through the hole and see when the hole in the shaft is aligned with it. I figure that could probably be a good idea. We'll see. And this is new territory for me. I've never done this before. But it's just nuts and bolts. How hard can it be? And spring pins and clamps. Weird clippy washers. Okay, it's time to reassemble this thing. Got it all cleaned up and got the dirt off. All right, let's see if I remember how this thing goes. That's the front. This is the side where this shaft goes in. This fits like so. All right, I'm going to oil the hole. A little bit. All right, that goes in like so. So I've got a punch inserted in the back to get it aligned. Now I'm going to flip this thing over. See if I can't figure out a way to keep that punch in place. I don't have to clamp this thing in a vise, probably. Or maybe not. Can I wedge it right there? I need 3 hands. I can lay it right there, just like that. Ooh, that'll work. Apologize, you won't be able to see this, but I should be able to drive the other punch back through now. That worked. That worked. All right, I should be in it, and I am. Whew. I need 3 hands. Okay, now, since we don't have the quadrant on, we can take this, slide it right in. Sweet. That worked out just right. Love it when a plan comes together. All right, let's see if I can remember how all of this goes back together. All right, so the arm is on, pinned in place. So that's not going to go anywhere. Drops. Okay, let's keep the quadrant arm, let's keep the control arm right there so that that piece doesn't go anywhere. Friction ring goes there. Dowel pin. Dowel pin. Okay. Okay. What's next? Do you remember? I don't. Oh yeah, I do. we have to put this thing on. It's still kind of dirty there. Give me a sec. All right. Friction disc goes on there, like so. This goes down over the dowels and fits in place like so. Okay, so we now put the washer down. Once we got the washer on, we'll put the nut on. There we go. All right, now let's see. One of the things that I took this apart for was to tighten it up a little bit. Clean it up, tighten it up. 3/4 wrench. Just trying to sense it by feel here. Manual says check on setting of the quadrant spring and adjustment number 6, setting the quadrant spring. Check the movement of the control lever. It should be free to move, but not so slack that it can be moved by vibration. If necessary, adjust the pivot tension by tightening or releasing the lock nuts on the lever pivot shaft. Lever pivot shaft and nut and the lock nut that goes on top of it. I like that right there. That's tighter than it was slightly. All right. Still got grease on the threads. Now it's up against the spring. Shouldn't move too much if I lock that down. I don't think anything moved. That works. I like that. I like that a lot. Used to, I could just reach down and just kind of tap it back, and it would go back. It was not tight anymore. The friction discs wear over time, and one thing they say is, you can, like I read in the manual just a minute ago, you can tighten these, loosen the lock nut here, tighten that one down a little bit to where, the lever feels the way you want it to feel, so that vibrations don't shake it around. And you can do that adjustment while it's on the tractor. These lock nuts are highly accessible. They're just right there, right there next to the seat. And I know why this cap is there. When I'm plowing or disking, I'm turned to the right, and the side of my leg is constantly rubbing up against this. I've worn a hole in my pants from this shaft right here. So I know why there's a cover on it. Okay, let's get the rest of this assembled. I'll start by putting this back in place, since it's something that we can do pretty easily, since that round bracket is not on there just right this second. Actually, I had to stop and go back and look and see how this actually came apart. Glad I videoed it. There's no lock washer or anything associated with this, I don't think. No. Okay. Loosen it. Turn it off, and you can slide it. Okay. Yeah, that's how that works. That's how that goes back apart, back together. All right, now, last piece. I think it went back on like this. Don't drop it. Come on, catch the thread. There we go. And that one's pretty easy. Okay. Quadrant says like that. Up against me. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. That's a little bit more, it's a little bit tighter than it was. Good to go. Okay, the last step is to get the parking brake lever and spring and pawl back in their respective holes. We'll start off by getting the spring greased up again. I've told you guys this before, but there is a hole that runs down at an angle into the casting. All right, let's see if I can get that in the hole in here. All right, and it goes right in the hole. A little grease on the pawl. Now, this thing goes in a specific way. Whoop, come back here. Come back here. Don't fall. Yeah, the angle part should be going that way. So that it catches on the teeth. Place it in there through the hole. Like so. Okay, cool. That really did feel like I was doing surgery. Not that I've ever done surgery before. All right, and this is the last piece. Coat this in a little bit of grease. Now, when we insert it, it's going to hit the pawl. What you have to do is reach in, push the pawl down, then push it on forward. Because there is a cutaway here that gives you enough room to get the pawl down and get your instrument out of there, and test that it works properly. There we go. See? You hear it? It catches if you turn it the right way. All right, the quadrant is complete. It's ready to go back on the tractor. We can put it to the side until we're ready to reinstall everything. I've got the arm here moving in a way that I like. It's not too tight, but it does have some resistance on it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it was educational if you've got one of these David Brown 990s, if it will, or entertaining. If you see anything that I missed or didn't do correctly, again, leave a note in the comments. Thanks for watching.